Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time reviewing on Suicide Squad, issue number 1, DC Universe Comic Review. Now, as you know, the recent Suicide Squad comics is meant to feature a totally different version of the Suicide Squad. So, the first issue is meant to have Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Superman, Cavalier, Magpie, and Shark, while some of them are more bargain basement members. And let's get on the story. It starts off how in Australia, an army officer talks about the new planned nuclear fleet they have, and suddenly a teleporter named Wink saying, "What? Hi! Seriously, there's submarines, one carrying a nuclear warhead. They're the crown jewel of your nation?" And so she teleports the commander away. They both end up falling. One of which, known as Aerie, sort of tries to negotiate with him. And the army officer, who stupidly thinks, just because I'm an officer, I won't negotiate with terrorists, decides to let him go. And Wink says, "I'm sorry, Aerie, you tried. Want a medal? Why did you take that? It's really shiny." And so, pretty much after murdering the commander, we're shown to the team known as the Reveries, who consist of Jog, Tylani, Ostia, Deadly Six, Chaos Kitten, and TNT. And so, Ostia sends TNT team to go through, and Wink basically teleports herself and TNT to the ship, which ends up with him blowing one up and then making a passage. And so pretty much Scales and Finn cover, and basically they brutally murder everyone on the sub and taking one with them. So you're introduced to the Suicide Squad with Harley Quinn clapping and Amanda Waller saying, "Stop clapping." And so you're introduced to the new guy Locke, who points out about the Reveries and who they are. And pretty much this guy is the new Amanda Waller. And pretty much he points out that, this is what we have. And you can tell Deadshot and Harley Quinn aren't happy with the other two members, like Magpie and Cavalier. With Cavalier going, "All for one and all for shut up!" And they point about Superman being formidable, and Magpie talks about not wanting to go, which Locke says there will be a year set on your sentence. Lloyd is quick to point him out on this never happened before, and ends up getting shocked. And of course, Harley Quinn wants to ask Waller, "Why are you allowing this to happen? Why are you letting this?" So she says that, she's here to make sure everything turns out alright. So we see Ostia work dismantling the warhead and trying to say to TNT that we're doing the right things, we're making a difference. So you see Aeteri and Wink flirting and playing around until they get shot on the wing, end up falling, Scales and Finn rescuing Aeteri, but pretty much one of them wonders where Scales is. And pretty much after Shark ends up murdering Scale, leaving Finn without a brother, Magpie goes in to investigate and try and destroy the sub, but one of them finds her and ends up killing her. And you can tell Harley's not happy with this, and Superman offers to come with Quinn and Cavalier, but is told to stay. And of course you got Jog saying, "You shark face!" And so, pretty much, the Reveries try to take them on, and Harley Quinn and Cavalier go down, with Chaos Kitten brutally taking out Cavalier by breaking his nose, and Ostia murdering Cavalier. And he does say, Locke says to Deadshot to basically use non-lethal shots, and he realizes saying, "You used them like bait. Do as I say or you will explode. Shoot them." And you can tell right away Deadshot isn't happy, as he knows that these were two people with lives and families. And so shoots the non-lethal shot, but turns out they're nanobots inside, which are now his new Suicide Squad members. And it turns out that Waller quitted, and you can tell Deadshot knows full well that Waller doesn't take orders from anyone, and there's more going on. So after Oscar says that we're not going to work for you, we're freedom fighters, Locke quickly makes an example and kills off TM-Teen. And you can tell right away Deadshot does call him out on this, but it turns out that he knows her background and knows what Oscar is. And after after what Deadshot said about them having the worst Suicide Squad ever, the Revenaries will be the new upgrade. So pretty much adding in newer members to the Suicide Squad. So issue 1 is kind of alright. I kind of feel most of the Suicide Squad members are sort of backups or just kind of poor man's versions, like Shark being a poor man's version of King Shark, Cavalier sort of being a poor man's version of Deathstroke, and so on. And it sort of builds up Locke to be the new sort of PC principal to the series, which only lasted with him for 4 issues, with moving someone else. So I think the issue deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.